The end of an era in Australian cricket. After 14 years, 170 ODIs, and 2 World Cup wins, Steve Smith has hanged up his boots in the 50-over format. Steve Smith, Australia's batting maestro, a leader, a fighter, and now an ODI great who walks away from the format he mastered. Smith's story in ODIs began in 2010 against the West Indies, not as a world-class batter, but as a leg-spinning all-rounder. Few knew back then that this young man from Sydney would go on to become one of Australia's most accomplished batters. His ODI numbers tell a story of evolution, hard work and dominance. 170 games, 5,800 runs at an average of 43.28, 12 centuries and 35 50s. A highest score of 164, equaling Ricky Ponting's record for the highest ODI score by an Australian captain. 28 wickets at 34.67 before his leg spin faded away as his batting took centre stage. From being an occasional bowler to a modern batting great, Steve Smith's transformation was nothing short of remarkable. Great players shine in big moments and Steve Smith was no different. He thrived in crunch matches, saving his best for the biggest battles. 2015 World Cup semi-final, a match winning 105 of 93 balls against India, guiding Australia to the final. 2015 World Cup final, a calm and composed 56 not out, finishing the chase in style as Australia lifted their 5th ODI World Cup. 2023 World Cup, a key figure in the squad that triumphed in India, Smith became a 2-time World Cup champion. Not many players can say they won 2 ODI World Cups, but Smith did, etching his name among cricket's greatest. In 2015, Smith took over the reins of Michael Clarke, becoming Australia's ODI captain. He led in 64 matches with a winning percentage of 50%. Under his leadership, Australia dominated some of the toughest opponents. Series wins against England and India in his debut year as full-time captain, winning the Chappell Hadley Trophy against New Zealand, tri-series victory in the Caribbean against South Africa and the West Indies, a 3-0 clean sweep of the West Indies in the 23-24 home summer, his final series as ODI captain. Though his captaincy was eventually interrupted, Smith remained a leader in the dressing room, always ready to step up when Australia needed him. Smith had a special love for playing against India. It seemed like a personal rivalry where he dominated. 1,383 runs in 30 ODIs versus India, the most he scored against any team. 5 centuries, 7 half-centuries against India. When the stakes were high, Smith stepped up. Whether in Australia or India, he relished the challenge and delivered time and again. Steve Smith's career was filled with staggering numbers, milestones and unforgettable innings. Highest individual ODI score by an Australian captain, 164 versus New Zealand in 2016, equaling Ricky Ponting. 12 ODI centuries including 4 scores above 130, only the second Australian batter after Michael Bevan to score 5 consecutive 50-plus scores in World Cup history, 2-time Australian ODI Player of the Year in 2015 and 2021, named in the ICC Men's ODI Team of the Year in 2015. These aren't just numbers, they are proof of his consistency, hunger and class. And then came the moment. After top scoring in the Champions Trophy semi-final against India, Steve Smith made a quiet yet monumental decision. He told his teammates, "It's time." In a statement, Smith said, "It has been a great ride and I have loved every minute of it. Winning 2 World Cups was a highlight along with the fantastic teammates who shared this journey. But now it's time to make way for the next generation and let them prepare for the 2027 World Cup." His decision wasn't driven by stats or records, but by self-awareness. He knew the time was right, but one thing was clear, Steve Smith wasn't done yet. Test cricket remains his priority. The World Test Championship final, the West Indies series, the Ashes at home, there is still more to come from Smudge.